Hi, my name is Phil. I'm living in the Netherlands and I am born here. I am raised here. I am white. I am through and through Dutch and I have one passport. And that all became important after last week's election because in those elections, the far right party became the biggest party of the Netherlands. Geert Wilders is the leader. PVV is the name of that party. We have a whole lot of parties in our parliament. We have 150 seats and about 10 to 15 parties. I need to count them to make sure. Maybe I will someday. And Geert Wilders will need to try to get a majority in the parliament. And the way to do that is by creating a coalition. And since this always happens, we have a procedure for that. The biggest party is taking the initiative. He is going to invite a scout. The scout has been approved. I don't know if that is part of the procedure, but I know this scout has been approved by all the leaders of all the parties. And the scout started to work a few days ago and will deliver a report, I think on the 7th of December. Might be a day off, somewhere around that time. And what he is going to do is he is inviting every leader privately, personally, and privately to discuss what is best for Dutch society when it comes to a coalition. And you can imagine that a whole lot of parties are not going to mention the PVV. After he has spoken to everyone, I don't know I don't know that. Let's just go to the second phase. After he has spoken to everyone, he is making a report and a suggestion for possible coalitions. Then the second phase starts, and in that second phase, a facilitator will guide or support the negotiations of the different parties who want to form a coalition. And that is a pretty thorough process. It is thorough because they need to come to agreement, to several agreements about what they want to do in the next 4 years, what they think is important, which lines they like to set out. And every party wants to be visible in the decisions that are going to be made. And that is always the hard part, because everybody needs to give in, which the supporters, the voters, don't like. You promise this, and you're not fulfilling it. And when that thing is important to that voter, you can imagine how that feels. So you take things, you give things, and at the same time, the face of your party needs to be visible. That is taking a few months. And after that, it is not like the two-party system where certain members of one party can vote for the bill of another party and the other way around. No, there are agreements, and when a vote is about and it includes one of their agreements, then they will all vote the same way. Commentators are saying that a coalition of 4 parties might be possible. The first party, of course, is the PVV. The second party is the VVD. The VVD has been the biggest party for 13 years and has been delivering the Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, if that tells you anything. And are right-wing, liberal, and on certain occasions they would fit well with the PVV. Then the NSC, which is a brand new party, only the leader of the NSC, Pieter Omtzigt, is known. The rest are very new to the second chamber, as more than half of the party of Wilders will be as well. And the fourth party is also new. All 6 of them are new to the chamber. And you can imagine that that is creating some instability. We have been there before, and yeah, it became a drama with big losses for certain parties. And the fourth party is the BBB. In this case, not that important. The NSC and the VVD are, because without those two, Geert Wilders will not be able to create a majority coalition. But a few things happened. And the first thing came from the VVD. Remember, they have been the biggest party for 13 years. And I can't remember her name. I have tried to remember it, but it's not a Dutch name, so I keep on forgetting it. But she, the new leader of the VVD, because Mark Rutte left politics, announced the next day after the elections that they don't want to become part of a coalition. First, I thought that she was referring to a coalition with Geert Wilders, but they don't want to form a coalition at all, because they want to take the responsibility for the loss they have suffered. Almost a third of the party is gone. 24 seats are left. 10 seats are lost. And she has a feeling that they need to take a step back. But she said, we will support a right-wing party with the PVV. Now, it is not known why she took this step. Some say it's a trick. But then it is a trick that has gone too far now. There is a big discussion going on in the VVD. I have read about a number of 85% of supporters of and voters of the VVD who didn't like this decision. And now they have an internal problem because apparently there are two blocks, um, and they are in disagreement. It reminds me of a situation, I think a decade ago, maybe longer, where the VVD and another party had created a minority coalition and were wondering whether they would invite Geert Wilders to support their party in a formal way, which means that as a coalition, you make a contract with, you start to negotiate with Geert Wilders, and you make a contract with him, an agreement. I don't know if it is a contract. I take it something will be put on paper, but an agreement or agreements depends. And a lot of people in that party were struggling with it. The VVD didn't struggle with it, but the CDA did. The C says Christian, and some were in favor and some were not, and they had all their own reasons. But morality was a big reason to say, we are not going to do that. In the end, there was a congress, they talked about it, asked questions, gave speeches, and at the end there was a vote, and that vote was in favor. Nobody knew how that vote would go. They have been voting several times, so that's how close it was. But they voted to invite Geert Wilders to support their party. The difference between supporter, not the party, the coalition, the difference between supporter and coalition is that the supporter is not going to deliver ministers or secretaries or people like that. People from the government, they don't interfere with that. So it is like an agreement on things that are important to both parties, but you always give something in return for that as well. The CDA never came back from that, and I think it is speculating, but I think that what happened that day or what happened that year has been crucial to the party. And when you are decimated, then it becomes really hard to become big again, especially when you have been doing decades about the same thing. And apparently people wanted something new. We see that because there are going to be a whole bunch of new people in the second chamber, even maybe in a coalition. So most people did something that they maybe normally wouldn't do, and that is voting for the PVV. to get something new, to get something done, to get something fixed, so to speak. The support of the VVD. First, the leader was talking loosely about it. Like, well, we will take any proposal of the coalition very seriously and don't put it aside as, okay, that's Geert Wilders. And I actually think you always should do that. That, I mean, otherwise you shouldn't be part of the parliament. Later on, I had the feeling that she was less loose about it and maybe want to formalize it, because of course supporting can mean so many things. And I think that has to do with the pressure from her party. And well, we see that discussion going on. It shows the division in the party itself, and that is never a good thing. It might not end up, because morality doesn't play a part in here. It is calculation that plays a part in here. With the other party, morality did play a part in it. But I think it might be that, yeah, I just thought of the situation and thought, are they going to go through the same drama? Okay, that was the VVD. Then we have the NSC, and the NSC has also been talking to the Scout already, because the Scout starts with the biggest party, and then the biggest party, and then the biggest party, and so on, from biggest to smallest. And he told the Scout that he was not ready yet to talk about a coalition. He had some conditions. One of them was already sort of answered, and that is that Geert Wilders has announced that he will keep or abide by the Constitution. As if that is a question, really. As for other conditions, I think they are actually meant to keep him in line and to make him normal or something like that. It is supporting international agreements that, of course, that has also something to do with the Constitution. It is to be transparent. And the third one is to guard the reputation of the Dutch abroad. Well, that should make a pretty normal man out of Wilders. There you have it. And he wants to know, because Geert Wilders has said, well, this is a different responsibility. When you are in the opposition, you have a different responsibility than when you are going to lead the country. As an opposition leader, you need to make it as hard as possible on your opponent. Is that so? I know those games are played, of course. But as a leader, you have different responsibilities, and he was willing to make compromises, and he was also willing to put some stuff in the fridge. I think that is only a Dutch expression, but it means that you put it aside. Wilders, in his own way, has responded to the questions of Peter Omtzigt. Did I mention he was the leader of the NSC? Peter Omtzigt, that he has responded with a tweet in which he said, well, if you come and sit on the table, which he refers to the second phase, then I can give answers to all your questions. But Peter Omtzigt is a cautious man, and I think he is using the scout to place the scout in the middle of him and Wilders for a purpose, to keep him on a distance. That's my idea about it. And he wants to weigh thoroughly what kind of answer he should give, and whether he should go along with a coalition with the PVV. More so because he has said that he doesn't want a coalition with the PVV. That was before the elections. But Peter Omtzigt is a very serious person and takes his responsibility very seriously, and also sees that, that there is now a big party who won in a landslide, and he wants to honor that. I think Peter Omtzigt is one of those politicians who are less playing and using tricks and manipulating. I think you see the guy himself. And that's why he can ask for transparency. As for my, I want to leave it with this. So the scout is working. There are several problems. There is a problem within the VVD party. There is a problem that the VVD don't want to participate in a coalition. And there is a problem that Peter Omtzigt still don't know what he really wants to do and needs more time and information to make a decision. So it might not be that smart for Geert Wilders to respond to his questions in that way. But yeah, Geert Wilders is Geert Wilders, and I'm actually afraid that in time we will see the old Geert Wilders back. At the same time, I think that this, what happened, right, coming up, moving on, is already happening for years. And not only here in the Netherlands, but in a whole lot of other European countries. And it is inevitable, it was inevitable, that at some point they would become the biggest. And what I hope for is that with the way we have been structuring this, and with the system of coalition, that it will, that there might be a way to get into contact with each other again, because now we get more and more divided, and we see that all over Europe. The division becomes sharper, and the sharper it becomes, the more far right we will see. And what I actually see in far right is anger, probably coming from frustration. And because of that frustration and the anger, the lack of trust in institutions, but also in persons. And I think discrimination is based on those kind of emotions or those kind of feelings. Um, uh, just throwing it out there. It's just a thought. And I'm a bit afraid that Geert Wilders will turn back to that motion. Okay, I will leave it with that. Maybe you are wondering why it is important to have one pass, and that is because Geert Wilders in the past has rejected people who have two passes, rejected for becoming or having a seat in the in the parliament, in the second chamber. But the problem is that Moroccans who become Dutch will never lose their passport for Morocco, because once you are born as a Moroccan, you will die as a Moroccan. That is the law. So they can't get rid of that passport. Well, you know what I mean? But he wonders if people who are having two passports are really Dutch-minded, want to participate for the good of the Dutch people. Okay. So it suddenly is important that I only have one, and that I'm through and through Dutch. I'm not proud of it, and I am very well aware that he might hurt a lot of people when he is able to continue. And that's not a good thing. Okay. I hope you learned something today, that you liked it. Then you can let me know. Several buttons down here. Well, do with it what you want. I would like to hear some of your opinions, but that's all up to you. And I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it through half an hour. My God, that's far too long. It's not what I wanted. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.